It's not the gear or the settings I regret, it's the mindset. These 5 things nearly stopped me from becoming the photographer I wanted to be, and to be honest, they still challenge me every day. And I want to bet that at least a few of these things challenged you. Good morning. One of the things which is bothering me today is the lighting conditions. And the problem that I've got is, like a lot of photographers, I'm not that keen on blue sky days. And as you can probably see, I've got a blue sky day. The problem with it is that the light becomes very direct, very harsh. The sky has no interest in it. And to a degree, it limits the types of photographs and things that you can take. And I have in the past, on days like this, decided not to even bother going out. Decided that it's just not worth it. And quite often when that's happened, I've come to regret it, because later in the day the weather's changed, or I've sat down in the evening, flicked through social media and seen photographs taken by other photographers that turned out to be exceptionally good under those conditions. So I think that's one of the first things to think about when we talk about regrets, is stop regretting the light that you've got, work with it, and just see what you can do. I mean, just look around. I'm in an absolutely stunning, gorgeous, beautiful location, and I'm moaning about the lighting conditions. So whoever said that you have to follow the rules, and what is it with them anyway? You know, one of the other regrets that I've got in photography, certainly when I first started, I think, is conforming too much, to thinking that things had to follow a particular set of rules. And I think that was influenced by the more formal way that photography was conducted back 35 years ago, or maybe even a little bit more. You know, you regularly hear people talking about the rule of thirds and the golden ratio and leading lines and focal points and all the rest of it, and you still hear those things today. But I think there's a little bit more fluidity today, a little bit more forgiveness for breaking those rules. In fact, I think it's accepted a little bit more that breaking those rules is actually a good thing to do. And that's what I'm kind of doing here with this composition. You see, everything is composed pretty much straight down the middle into the valley below. There isn't really a focal point. Yes, there's a little bit of foreground interest. The background is very hazy, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring any of that out in the final image. I certainly hope that I can. But the point of this is that actually sometimes you should just take the photographs that you want to take, because they're there, because it's the things that inspire you. And so what if it breaks the rule? If you like the photograph, take it. Don't walk away, don't come back and regret having not tried. Because sometimes, quite often sometimes, when you break those rules, that's where the magic happens. Now, I don't know if this photograph is going to be magic or not, but let's just have a look and see what we end up with. Without any doubt, many other photographers have been up here and photographed this bothy. I know, because when I was researching coming up here on this hike, I came across lots of photographs in misty conditions, in snow, in really quite dramatic lighting with amazing clouds in the background. Nothing like it is today. Although today's lighting isn't bad, I came across a lot of images which were better than mine, or better than what I think I can produce today. And that's a little bit of a shame, because there's a lot of photographers, myself included, that have on occasion decided to not take photographs, to walk on by, because they've seen it before and because these conditions aren't as good as what other people have had, or just because they have that doubt and they don't actually believe that their photographs are as good as other people's. And that's a shame, because nobody else is here. Nobody else is taking this photograph today. Well, it might be later on, but predominantly it's me taking this image. It's my work, my memory, and my photographs. And I never want to leave a location again regretting not having taken a photograph because it wouldn't be good enough. Even if it's not going to be a prize-winning, award-winning, portfolio-busting image, I still want that record of having been here, to capture that moment, to look back on it and be able to reflect on the feeling of being here, of how amazing this place looks up above the valley, looking out towards haystacks in the background, which has now just gone into shadow, and creating a really sort of nice graphic image. I'm going to take this now before it changes. Light is a very transient thing, isn't it? And over time it changes quite a lot. And certainly the landscape of photography, as well as the landscape before me, has changed significantly over time. When I first started photography, I joined a number of different camera clubs, and they were all similar in that they would have competitions and exhibitions, and you'd listen to people that you consider to be good photographers, people well advanced and much higher along in their careers than you were. And you would take on board the things that they said and consider how those different things impacted your own photography. I think today it's exactly the same, isn't it? People today now tend to photograph images and put them online. Some still go to camera clubs, but they go end up on Instagram and Facebook and all these other social media platforms. And people vote with their fingers. You know, you get a like or a dislike or whatever, and that teaches you what people like and what they perceive to be a good photograph. There's always a risk with those things that you end up modifying your photography and not taking your images. You end up taking images because other people perceive them to be good. And yes, they probably are. But if they're not what you want, if they're not the images you wanted to capture, then surely there's something to regret there. That you're not capturing the landscape or the subjects in the way that you wanted to capture them, and you're allowing other people to dictate how they should look. So that's something I don't do anymore. I take images the way I want to take them, how I want to take them, without regret. And I encourage you to do exactly the same. I do want to tell you this image is the favourite I've taken so far on my spring trip to the Lake District National Park in 2025. And as I walk away in silence as it appears that my audio system has failed, I can only ask you to cut me some slack. And if you've enjoyed this video, then please watch this playlist next.